Each quarter tells a story, from Wall Street heavyweights to emerging disruptors. We break down the numbers, the reactions, and the moves that matter most. Real data, real insights, in real time. This is Earnings Central Live with Verified Investing.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Earnings Central Live. I'm your host, Lawton here with Verified Investing, and I go live after the bell or right before the bell to go over the biggest earnings almost every day of the week during earnings season. And today we are back with a banger. Zach says, let's go, let's go. So today, unlike the three I usually have, we only have two, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But we're going to be talking about Marvell and Samsara. But before I get any further, please, we would absolutely appreciate it if you like this video and subscribe to the Verified Investing YouTube channel. It helps us so much, and it tells the YouTube algorithm that you want to see more content just like this. With that being said, let's hop into it. So we're talking about Marvell and IOT Samsara. There's also a stock called GoPro, which you might have heard of, that I was previously considering talking about, but this thing is absolutely so volatile, and I can talk about it in just a little bit. But before I go any further, let me explain to you how this works. So the way this works is I will give you three levels: an aggressive, a standard, and a more conservative levels for each of these different stocks. And these are going to be both support and resistance. And rather than me trying to predict with some sort of, crystal ball where these stocks are eventually going to go, we're going to watch them play out in real time, react to them, and try to potentially catch trades for a bounce or on a pullback. With that being said, let's cover our first stock. I believe this is IoT. Please, team, if you could throw up that graph. So, yes, actually, let's do Marvell first. Sorry about that, team. MRVL, yep, there we go. Marvell reports earnings at 4:05, and we're expecting great earnings, right, from this technology company known for semiconductors and semiconductor adjacent technology. So MRVL, we're expecting earnings per share up 31.7% year over year to around 79 cents, right? And we're expecting good revenue as well, about $2.2 billion, an increase of about 21% year over year. If we could please come to me. And we're expecting good earnings. All these numbers so great. Wow, up 27%, up 21% year over year. But something really important to note is NVIDIA and AMD, some of these other stocks, Micron, also had great projections, right? We're expecting great earnings, good revenue, and those companies still fell. And Marvell and Micron and NVIDIA fell significantly, and AMD fell significantly today off of news that Washington was potentially drafting legislation that would put them in charge of the export of chip sales, just them signing up whether or not these American companies can ship these chips off to foreign countries. So that's going to be massive. And if we could please turn to my charts, please. You can take a look here on Marvell. You see my levels. Can we please put that slider? But if we just take a look today, Marvell was hanging out, and then fell significantly. You had a huge intraday sell, and that's not off of earnings, right? That's off of this news. So you see my levels at the bottom, and I'm going to just read them out for you. For support, I'm first looking at that 66.05 level, followed by that $63.60 level, and then $61.50. These earnings come out at 4:05. For resistance, I'm looking at $90 level, $92.50, and then the $94 level. So we're going to react to that in real time, but we have about 5 minutes until those earnings come out. If we could please come to me. And we're going to react to this in real time. I'm just going to get my chart set up so you guys can see as the race car, the race flag shows up behind me. So this is where I need your help, guys, okay? In a moment, just so we have, so you guys have all the levels. I'm going to start covering the Samsara or IOT levels, okay? I'm going to start covering those levels, and Marvell, as with many stocks, sometimes report earnings a little sooner or later, so I'm not necessarily going to be watching the stock. So that's where you guys at home come in. I need you to type in the chat, guys, Marvell is moving, guys, this is moving, and then I'll switch to it. We'll take a look at it and we'll see what we can do. The stock that I was previously thinking about doing was GoPro, but it's literally a dollar stock, $162 million market cap, and this thing can seriously move. So I decided not to cover it in today's show just because it's too risky. I was having difficulty finding levels that I would feel comfortable, and it's too risky. So before these earnings come out, guys, something really important for all of you at home is to make sure that you, if you're trading at home with me, have your trade set into extended trading hours, or else you will not get filled on these orders. And just know that because it is earnings, it could be extremely volatile. So make sure to go a little lighter and use proper risk management strategies. All right. We have about 3 minutes or so until Marvell reports earnings, followed by IOT Samsara at 4:10. But since we have a little bit of time to for now, we're going to talk a little bit about Samsara. If we could please throw up that graphic for Samsara. So, no pro, absolutely. Samsara, we're expecting decent earnings, right? Increase in 18% year over year for earnings per share at around 13 cents. But for revenue, also good earnings, also good revenue we're expecting. An increase in about 22% year over year to around $421 to $423 million dollars, right? And if we could please throw it back to me and then my charts, I'll give you those levels on Samsara, please. Thank you. For Samsara, first levels, please put that slider for support, 2681, first level of support, followed by 2538, and then 2334. For resistance, 3138, $33, and then basically around $35. And just going here, we see a little bit of movement so far, but I don't believe IoT has come out with earnings just yet. So back to Marvell, and we can come to me. We have about 2 minutes. 2 minutes until these earnings come out. So Taylor says we have a major upsloping trend line from October 22, and it's at 68.50. That's really interesting because that's a little more aggressive than my first level, but certainly could be the level for a bounce. We'll have to keep an eye on that level. Good, nice level there, about 10%-ish lower from the closing price. Crazy says this is for 3/5/26. Is that correct? Yes, that is for today. That is for today. What's up, Wes? Hope you're doing well. We have about a minute until Marvell comes out. Let's just for fun take a look at GoPro and see what it did in its earnings. It looks like it hasn't reported earnings yet, but this is a stock that's extremely risky. It's like a dollar stock, so really just trying to stay away from that. GoPro. A couple other stocks report earnings today, including Gap, but we gave that to our members of the earnings levels with Lawton Ho. So we have about a minute until these earnings do come out, and then we'll hopefully see some fireworks. I'll react to them in real time. We're looking at Marvell first, followed by IoT Samsara. Go broke, GoPro, absolutely verified investing. Sagar says gold can going more down. Yeah, potentially. I guess it could do anything. We have about 30 seconds until these earnings do come out, so just get ready. Thank you so much, Michael, without an L, saying go Lawton. Go Michael without an L. We have about 10 seconds left, guys, and then the fireworks should start. This is really important for the overall markets just because semiconductors rule the market. NVIDIA is the largest company in the world of semiconductors. Everyone's watching. Okay, and immediately, guys, look at this pop up from MRVL. First level of resistance on those sliders is around $90 pierce, but the first move is oftentimes incorrect. A lot of times we'll see a nice push up and then a drop. And what that is, it's algorithms, robots, AI reading and scanning through the pure numbers. What are the EPS? What are the revenues saying? And then reacting to it. And then the guidance comes out. And then they read the rest of the report. And then you'll see a potential reversal. But in this case, what we would like to see is a continued push higher to around this $90 level, and then a pullback here on Marvell Technology. But so far, pretty good. You can see right here around 6% up. We're up about 6% so far. Just got out of the day trading room. Well, thank you so much for being part of the Apex Live Day Trading Room and joining me here. So let's see. We need Marvell to continue to push up about $10 more before we really reach that first aggressive level, right? And just taking a step back and looking at this, and I'll explain to you, this is a decent move, right? 5%, 6% up on Marvell. It's a good move. But if we look at the price action intraday, right, we were literally up to $80.15, right? Today, this morning when the market opened. Right, so this move up is not that much higher than the opening price of today. So it looks like Marvell had decent earnings, but it wasn't anything spectacular, nothing to warrant it pushing up significantly. And this is what I'm talking about, guys, as the first move sometimes isn't the correct move. Nice push up, and then immediately reverses. Was up around 5-6% from the close, now only up about 3%, has come in about half of that. Good job, Morton. Congratulations to you. And let's check on Samsara. We still have some time on this. We have about just under 3 minutes. So we'll see if our MRVL moves. If it moves, up another $10, then we'll potentially look at an entry. But this is pretty boring, to be honest. But the great thing about these levels that I give you here and in my earnings level service is that these levels, these aggressive, standard, and conservative levels, even if they don't play out today, you bet I would take them for potential day trades tomorrow. Let's say price closes around $85 on MRVL, and tomorrow it continues to push up and then goes towards that $90 level. You bet I will 100% be shorting that stock at $90 tomorrow. In the live day trading room. Thanks so much, Architect. So we have about less than 2 minutes until IOT reports earnings. Looks like Marvell's kind of a dud, kind of to be expected just because of the huge intraday sell, right? And then a small pop up, but nothing so much there. So let's see what IOT ends up doing. Yep, put those levels there. And just a refresher on these levels, as we have just about a minute and a half until these earnings for Samsara comes out. My levels of support are as follows: $26.81, $25.38, and then $23.34. For resistance, I'm looking about $31.38, $33, and then basically $35 for resistance. About 1 minute to go, and we'll see if we can't get a win on Samsara. Back to Marvell. Yeah, just kind of sitting here. If you have orders out on this, I would likely close them out, particularly orders to go long, right? Because sometimes you'll see stock go up a little bit and then fade throughout the rest of the post-market. And it's really important that, one more thing that I forgot to mention, that earnings, when you're trading earnings, it's really important, as we have 30 seconds to go, it's really important that you get these trades within the first 5, 10, 15 minutes of these stocks reporting earnings. And the reason why is because the further away that you get from the earnings release, right, what do we need as traders? We need volume and volatility. But the further away we get from the earnings release, the less volume and volatility we have, and we can't really trade without volume and volatility. Oh my God, immediately pushing up, crushing that level, guys. That aggressive level has been hit, 31.38 on IOT. Samsara continuing to push up, heading towards that more standard level, about $33. Now the question is, will it pull back from this level? And look at this nice pullback. Pulled back about 1% from that level, but continued pushing higher. Will it continue to push higher, hitting that standard level around $33, or does it pull back? You could have taken about 1% from this aggressive level if you were quick. But now we need to see, does IOT continue pushing higher, or does it see a reversal? Oftentimes we see this first candle up and then a reversal, right? What we don't want to see is red if you're waiting at this standard level. You're in the money. You had a couple opportunities to take your money here on this first aggressive level. So good job if you took money there. But let's see if this $33 level can be breached, or we just get a continued sell from here. What you really don't want to see is a big red candle, because if you see a big red candle, this $33 level is not being hit. Similar to that MRVL I talked about. You saw a nice push up and then a huge red candle, right? That just meant that the majority of the steam for this trade was done, right? Thanks, Comina. So if you got in IoT, you could have taken about 1%, 1.5% if you were quick, had a couple opportunities and a couple pullbacks. But let's see if this resistance levels is able to be the level where the stock ultimately pulls back, or we see a continued push up to the standard level of resistance up there around 33%. That's what I'm watching. So let's see here, guys. But good push on IoT so far. Thank you so much, Michael. But let's see here on IoT Samsara. Continuing to push up. Remember, guys, that more standard level, the standard level of resistance is at that $33 mark. We got so close, guys. 32.92 was the high of this candle. Now we really want to see a push up and then a pullback. Okay, it looks like it tagged that $33, guys. Looks like it did tag that $33. Did have a decent pullback, about another 1% pullback, right? But you can see all of the resistance here around 33 as it pushes above. And look at that pullback. There's 50 cents if you want it, guys. 50 cents from that $33 level. Continue to pull. There's $1, guys. There's about 3%, a 3% pullback from that $33 levels. I hope you guys took that level. Wow, what an amazing pullback, guys. But we want to see this continue to fall. We want to see this continue to fall, right? And look how awesome this $33 level was. I found that level because there was decent pivots that it provided for support and resistance previously on Samsara, and it's an amazing psychological level, right? Whenever somebody sees $33, okay, I'll cover at 33. They're not thinking I'm going to cover it at 32.94, right? Or 33.01 or 30.21. Constantine took 2%. Awesome. Awesome, Constantine. Congratulations, Constantine. So let's see. We're going to give it a couple more minutes, but I'm so glad you took that. Let's see. Yoga made 12% as it went up. Wow, incredible. So that means you went long into earnings. Well, congratulations to you, Yoga. Great job so far. All of these software companies, whether it be IoT, Samsara, APP, all of these companies have been so beaten down, guys. So beaten down. So they favored a move higher. And as you saw with things like the trade desk, as they had a deal today with OpenAI, a potential deal with OpenAI, this entire sector is pushing up higher. But great job, everybody, on this trade so far. I'm going to stay live for about the next minute or so, see what else it does. But if you took this, congratulations. Great job. If you took that aggressive level, hopefully you were able to add at that more standard level and then make some money on that pullback. But a great pullback from that level, guys. Just about 3%. Reculent played the Marvel float and made $500. Nuggets on me. Awesome, brother. Awesome. Yeah, Marvel just continued to float up. Didn't do a whole lot, unfortunately. I was a little more cautious with those levels, a little more conservative with those MRVL levels. And let's just take a look at GoPro really quick. Yeah, GoPro, despite supposedly reporting earnings, didn't do a whole lot. Just a small company, not a lot there, right? But for those of you who took this Samsara, congratulations and thank you so much for joining me for Earnings Central Live. My name, guys, again, is Lawton Ho here at Verified Investing. Please, if you wanna follow me, you can follow me at Lawton Investing on all platforms: Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, right? So I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Earnings Central Live.
Earnings can move fast, and most traders react too late.
I map the key levels first: support, resistance, pivots, and gaps, so you're not guessing during the volatility.
Earnings Levels with Lawton Ho gives you the zones to watch before key earnings reports, delivered monthly.
Trade the levels, manage risk, stay disciplined.
VerifiedInvesting.com.